Welcome to Heal to Achieve. In this soul stirring episode, I sit down with energy healer Osmarie Pico, founder of My Soul Empowerment, to explore her extraordinary journey from corporate burnout to spiritual awakening. Osmarie shares the moment she had a life changing out of body experience during a high stakes corporate meeting, her deep work with ayahuasca, and how she activated her intuitive gifts. We dive into the power of energy healing, the connection between unhealed trauma and chronic stress, and why so many high achieving women struggle with validation, boundaries, and burnout. In this episode, you'll learn how unresolved childhood wounds shape your adult achievements and relationships, the role of ego in survival versus soul alignment, signs your soul is misaligned and how to realign, how energy healing works and why it accelerates emotional healing, why burnout is often a symptom of emotional suppression, not just overwork. Whether you're navigating exhaustion, questioning your purpose, or seeking deeper healing, this episode is your invitation to pause, reflect, and rise. Welcome to the podcast. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invite. So, as you can see, I'm Osmarie Pico. I'm the founder of mysoulempowerment.com. What I do energy healing, life transformation coaching, and I organize retreats. So, but before all these things happened, it was a long journey to get here. I worked in corporate for 17 plus years. I'm originally from the Philippines.
Mhm.
And I lived and worked in different countries. So I've handled different roles, different functions. And at some point in my life, I reached rock bottom. I was not happy anymore. And there was something inside me telling there was something missing. Well, bottom line, I was not happy.
Mm.
And that missing thing inside me that I didn't even know what it was just opened gates for me to my journey. And
Yeah.
yeah, here I am. I became an energy healer.
Well, it's quite different to go from corporate to energy healer. What was the pivotal moment when you realized that you wanted to go into energy healing?
I never imagined myself to become an energy healer, to be honest.
Mm.
I grew up in a poor family, in a poor country. My social conditioning is get good grades, finish a degree with flying colors, get a job,
Yeah.
in a big company, secure financial security, have a financial security. I did all of those things.
Yeah.
When I was in my late 20s, no, 28, I was sent for an expat assignment in the US. And there was one time, we had a busy discussion, like intense discussion. We were doing a project, a multi-million project. I was part of that. And in
Yeah.
that big conference room, I had an epiphany.
Mm.
I had an out of body experience. I didn't even know it was an out of body experience, but I saw myself in the room. It was busy and everything stopped, and I
Right.
can see myself in the room, but I was there, and it felt like a dream. And I received a message. There was a voice, and she said, "This is not your life. Your purpose in life is to touch other people's lives and to inspire other people. You have to retire and corporate on or before 40." So at that age, I was just chasing careers, trying to prove myself that I deserve that expat assignment, that I deserve, you know these things.
Mm.
But I kept that in mind. It took me so long to understand what it really meant. And in 2019, I was working as a bid manager for big deals. I was stressed. At the same time, I was working on a startup. As you can imagine, was so ambitious. I was exhausted every day. I was just tired. I was
Yeah.
unhappy. And I did an online course on energy healing, not to heal people, but to heal myself.
Right.
It's more
Yeah.
to manage my energy actually because I was just so exhausted every day. And
Yeah.
in during weekends I would just spend my time sleeping.
I know that feeling.
And then fast forward, the pandemic happened.
Hmm.
I got into a downward spiral, depression. And I didn't even realize that I was actually living in a victim mentality. I was
Mm.
blaming so many things.
Yeah.
And then one day I just woke up and told myself, I don't want to live this life anymore.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so I decided to take an online course. I did a lot of online course because I really need there's a question in me, but I don't know what it is. There's
Yeah.
something missing. So I did that online course. It's entitled Life Visioning by Michael Bickwith. And that's when I understood that I was living in a victim mentality
Mm.
and everything is actually in my hands.
Hmm.
It's like a wake up call. And
Yeah.
that my programming, my belief is that I need to work hard in order to earn money. And it's true, I was working so hard to make money.
Mm.
My belief system was consuming me. And I was living in Paris that time. And it's just this consumerism, materialism type of mentality. And the moment I woke up from that victim mentality, I decided to live a minimalist lifestyle. So I donated almost all my clothes, sold some of it. I donated almost all my bags. I just had a sling bag and a laptop bag left. Half of my shoes, okay, I'm a woman, I still love shoes, but I gave it almost all of it. And then I gave up my apartment
Mm.
and then I traveled because it was that moment I realized I've worked in sales, I've worked in finance, I studied business, I've worked in different countries. I have all the skills that I needed to really become successful in whatever I pursue if I want to.
Mm.
And the thing that's stopping me is fear of failure.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset because I had a good salary, I had a good position. And to give all of that to start something from scratch, it's just scary. I did it anyway. And so after that, I traveled and I don't know, I had a calling to do an ayahuasca. So I was supposed to go to Costa Rica. I booked a flight. That was 2021. That was when I don't know if it's still pandemic, but it's like after post pandemic kind of, wherein the regulations were changing. So I booked up and the plane tickets were cheap because there's nobody flying.
Nobody was
I booked
traveling. Yeah.
yeah, and I booked a flight to Costa Rica 4 days before my flight because I have to make sure I researched the regulations because it was changing every week. I missed one in my research because I had a connecting flight to US and I didn't realize I missed in my research that to enter US or even a connecting flight, you need to have an invitation or to be part of the exception list. So anyway, bottom line, I got denied
All
boarding.
right.
I was in Paris early
Mm.
waiting for the connecting flight and it didn't happen. I didn't have any apartment anymore. I was living in a luggage. Some of my clothes, the remaining part of clothes, because I still need clothes. Winter, I kept one winter coat or two. It's all in a garage somewhere. And I was living in a luggage. I didn't have any home to
Mm.
go to. And then I realized, wait, I have so many friends in Paris. Just think who lives close to the airport and ask if you can crash for the night. So I crashed for the night. The next day, I
Mm.
checked research the cheapest flight outbound Paris, somewhere close to the beach because I wanted to surf. I always wanted to surf. I found Lisbon. And then I said, where will I stay somewhere close to the ocean? I needed something cheap because I lost so much money traveling I lost so much money in that denied boarding. And then I found a place called Costa de Caparica. So I was supposed to go to Costa Rica because I wanted to do an ayahuasca. I had a calling to do. I ended up in Costa de Caparica, Portugal. Sounds the same but different. And 45 minutes away from that place, there's an ayahuasca retreat house.
Wow. And then you attended. You went to the ayahuasca.
So I did my first ayahuasca, and the first one was like a Disneyland. It showed me what I'm capable to do.
Yeah.
It showed me my karma that I needed to pay, past life karma that I needed to pay. I even saw myself and my soulmate in an animated version dancing in a garden. It was like so surreal. And I said, "Can I see more?" And ayahuasca told me, "Nope, you've seen enough. Come back after 8 months." And
Hmm.
so I came back after 8 months, and that was the beginning of the story. In that second ayahuasca, I had a massive ego death.
Mm.
I really underwent with the sensation of dying to a point
Wow.
I ran out of breath. And then I just had a big inhale, like,
Mm.
and I was alive again. And
Yeah.
that happened 10 times. And around the fourth or fifth ego death, I said, if this is what I needed to undergo in order to transform, then just kill me.
Mm.
And the moment I said that was the moment it became gentle.
Yeah.
And the voice when I was having ego death, that voice was telling me, your ego will kill you. We all have ego.
Yeah.
It was designed for it was designed to protect us. And this is what I keep on saying all the time with people. To work in corporate, especially in I have nothing against corporate, okay?
Hmm.
I experience a lot of things. But working in competitive environments, you just need to have your ego to survive. Otherwise, they will eat you alive. The problem is most of the time we forget to have a balance check.
Mm.
That the success and professional accolades sometimes just really build our ego,
Mm.
and to a point it's creating false identity,
Mm.
and you're no longer serving to your own identity, your purpose to do in life, but just living in that false identity created by your ego, because we are driven. Ego would drive over, too much ego would drive you to glory, power, greediness, a lot of
Mm.
things. So anyway, I had an ego death in my second ayahuasca, and after that I don't want to do it anymore. It was just
Why
scary,
not?
but at the same time it was beautiful in a way, because it showed me my inner garbage.
Mm.
Those inner garbage that's actually holding me back from really
Hmm.
pursuing my purpose in this lifetime.
Hmm.
And in one of my meditations, I had an insight to do an ayahuasca again. And I was like, I don't want to do it, but let's just do it. I'm ready. If I need to die again, let's do it. I just
Mm.
really surrendered to the process. And in that third ayahuasca, after the ceremony, I just started to see chakra colors of people.
Mm. Yeah. Was
Like
that
which one is
scary?
blocked, which one is lit.
Mm.
Yeah, I just, like, after the ceremony, I just started to see chakra colors of people. Which one it, like, you have seven chakras. I can see which one is blocked, which one is lit. And then there's a sharing process after the ceremony. And they were all speaking in Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese yet, but I understand exactly the trip they had during the ayahuasca. If they
Yeah.
were enlightened, if the trip was painful, if it was scary, I don't know, I just feel it, I understand it. And for 1 month, I was hearing thoughts of people. I have this insight what's going on with their lives. I thought I was going crazy.
Mm.
To be able to hear thoughts of people, people think it's powerful. You don't want to know what's going on with other people's lives. And
Well, not all the
then I
time.
spoke to a
Yeah.
friend. Yeah, I spoke to a friend, a classmate in my MBA. She lives now in California. She's also a spiritual. I
Mm-hmm.
told her about what happened to me during my ayahuasca, and she said, "Can you see my chakra colors?" And so I said, "Let's do this properly." And I did a chakra reading, and then she asked me like, "How do I activate it?" And then I told her, "I can do it for you with
Mm-hmm.
confidence." But I did an energy healing for
Yeah.
myself. So I was thinking if I apply the same technique to her, it's gonna work. It's just
Mm-hmm.
an experiment.
Yeah.
And so I did, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me people to test just to see if what I really activated is true or not. And then one thing led to another. And then I just became an energy healer. And then I also meet people. The moment I activated my psychic abilities, that energy healing gift
Mm-hmm.
inside me, it's like the universe conspired. Everywhere I go, I meet people who does spiritual healing. It's
So
like,
you found your tribe then?
yeah, I don't know, it just magnets. I was surfing, and then there's this girl who just paddled all the way to me in the
Yeah.
water. I mean, you are in the ocean. Only to find out she does Kundalini.
Mm. Yeah.
And then
I
she was
wonder.
sharing to me
Mm.
how it underwent like during her activation.
Yeah. 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 That just sounds amazing, Osmarie. I mean, I was going to ask you, what is your philosophy on healing as a modality, but also as a way of life?
That's a good question. One of the reasons why I fully embraced energy healing
Mm.
as my means of why I embrace energy healing as my main life now is
Yeah.
because I finally understood that in order for us to achieve and to be aligned with our purpose in life,
Mm-hmm.
we have to heal our emotional wounds.
Yeah.
We have to clear those negative energy blocks
Mm-hmm.
that's caused by trauma, that's
Mm-hmm.
caused by fear based experiences.
Yeah.
And because everything is energy,
Yeah.
you attract what you vibrate. If you are vibrating at the trauma level, at that fear based experience level, at that anger, at that shame, at that guilt level, you're gonna attract people in that same vibration.
Mm.
So, as a way of life, I use energy healing for myself. I'm coughing, I do energy healing. I have pain in my knee, I do energy healing.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, my energy healing is more on the emotions, clearing negative blocks. If you have to go back to your past life to correct something so you can
Mm.
progress in this lifetime, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Yeah.
And it's actually helpful. How do I even say it? It's really empowering because
Mm.
I have a client. I didn't hear from her after our last session, the seventh one. And she just sent me a
Mm-hmm.
message and she said, "Sorry, I was busy. I just got a new job here in London," because she also loves to surf and she wants to live close to the ocean. And
Mm.
she just sent me a message, "I got a new job. It's still based in London, but my boss is based in Lisbon. So I need to go
Mm.
to Lisbon every month."
Well, I was going to say there's no oceans in London, just the dirty River Thames. Dear, that is like well, that's divine intervention, I suppose. Yeah, dear.
Yeah, so yeah, at the end of the day, everything is energy. We attract
Mm,
what we vibrate, or what we vibrate. And
yeah.
I had talks to few girlfriends,
Hmm.
and they're all worried not having kids, and they're in their mid 30s, and they all want to have kids and or to have somebody. If
Mm,
you are vibrating at that fear level, of that needy level, the more
yeah,
you chase, the more you don't have it. So you
exactly.
have to
Yeah,
learn how to raise your frequency. How do you raise your frequency? You need to get rid of all these negative emotions,
yeah.
which equates to negative frequency that's holding you back. And how do you get rid of that? Well, first, awareness. What are those things?
Mm,
Because most of the time we are in denial.
of course.
And
Yeah.
then, second, after awareness, is to reprogram the mindset.
Mm, yeah.
And what energy healing does is
Hmm. Yeah.
it accelerates the process of healing. It
Yeah.
helps with the removal of those negative frequency, but at the same time in my work, it gives you that specific incident in your life
Hmm.
which triggered those trauma fear-based experiences emotionally.
Is there, does it work for everyone, or sometimes does it not work for other people, say?
At the end of the day,
Hmm.
it's a belief. If you come to me and you already have a preconceived opinion what
Hmm.
energy healing is,
Yeah.
and if your brain says no, then whatever I would say, you would say no.
Right.
If you come open without any expectation, you're gonna
Hmm.
try to listen and process whatever I was saying or I'm saying and then reflect. So there's a
Mm.
big difference. For example, I had somebody, she knows she's gonna have energy healing, chakra reading. She read the book. She read books. She read a book about chakra.
Mm.
She came and she already did her assessment. She did in the chakra reading, energy reading, and she already did her own assessment.
Hmm.
And in my reading, I told her that she has a black throat chakra, and she
Hmm.
said, "No, I already improved based on this, that, that." And then I found out she actually has a thyroid issue.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wow.
She said she improved her. She became more honest, more vocal.
Mm.
But I said it's still black, and she said no, it already improved, but she has thyroid issues.
Oh, right. Could
So
the energy healing heal those? Do you know if she had a session or a few sessions or whatever, and you said that she's got thyroid issues? Could the energy healing help with that or heal that?
all right, I'm not a doctor, but in my experience, I
Mm.
had terrible allergies.
Mm.
My It's genetics. My mother has it.
Hmm.
And when I was at the reach of my allergy, just the smell of seafood, I'm already itching and I'm puking.
Yeah.
Just the smell. And then I did an energy healing to myself
Mm.
and said, you have to improve
Hmm.
and you have to let go. And my allergies really improved
Yeah.
a lot. It's not fully healed, but now I still don't eat seafood because I reached a point wherein I couldn't breathe.
Hmm.
And but now, like,
Mm.
if it's I don't even want it beside my food. It's just so strong, my allergies. Now I eat rice with the soup of shrimp. I'm fine. I can handle it. So it would help. It's like we are more, honestly, the straight answer is we are more than capable to heal
Mm.
ourselves. The body itself is more than capable to heal ourselves. The
Mm.
disease, physical disease, is actually just a manifestation of mental, emotional
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
It's the last.
Yeah.
It's like when you're so stressed, when you're burnout, and this is scientific. When you're stressed, when you're burnout, you're raising your cortisol level. And when you
Yeah.
have a cortisol imbalance, it just
Hmm.
manifests as a physical disease.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. I remember when I was going through burnout and I started getting all sorts of swellings and all sorts of things. And the moment they said to me, oh, it's stress, then everything started to calm down because I changed my mindset in a different way. Yeah, it all manifests in the body. It always does. So, in your view, what's at stake when people avoid or delay their healing journey?
That's a good question. What's the delay or
Yeah.
acceleration process?
No, if they
Well, it
delay,
starts,
what's the consequences of them delaying their healing journey? Because some people will say, "Oh, I don't need to do this. I just need to continue." You know?
well, would you rather be in pain for the rest of your life? Short term sacrifices for long term goal? Or
Yeah.
short term glory for long term sacrifices? You choose.
Mm,
If you
yeah.
delay your, at the end of the day, because what I wanted to say is it starts with acceptance.
Mm, yeah. Well, you need to accept that you need to be healed because the thing is that you find that you're just tired of just repeating the same patterns. I know for myself, I was just so tired of repeating the same patterns in my life and I just couldn't explain it. And it's just a disclaimer here, as Osmarie has done some energy healing with me. It was a painful process at one point, as you know. So,
Yeah, I would say acceptance that something is wrong in your life.
yeah,
That's the start.
yeah,
Because we glorify the hustle culture. I
yeah.
remember like you get a badge of honor for working so hard.
Mm,
But the truth
mm,
is, it's unhealthy. It was like you. Like, I suffered severe eczema
mm.
to a point like I had cracks in my body. I had two allergologists. I had two dermatologists. They cannot tell me what's the cause of my eczema. And I found a doctor who's also a naturopath because I wanted to go for natural healing, but I wanted the science behind it. What's really causing my eczema? And the doctor told me because of too much lactose. I lived in Paris, like it's a lot of cream, butter, cheese. I
Mm,
didn't grow up with it. And the second one was stress.
mm.
It's
Yeah.
making my stomach so acidic that
All
the
right.
acidity is coming out of my skin. And that's
Mm,
what's causing my eczema. And I just healed based on natural diet.
mm.
Natural, like just
Yeah.
change my diet.
Yeah.
And in
Just
two
completely change.
weeks, just changing my diet alone, I
Yeah.
can see the changes in my skin.
Yeah.
And the doctor would always say whenever I go to his office, at his clinic, he would tell me, "How's your stress level?" That's the first thing he would ask me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
some
honestly,
doctors.
the moment, yeah, I saw a pic. I was scrolling pictures like a few
Mm,
weeks ago or a month ago, and I saw a picture of me when I was working in bid management, managing big deals. I look so old. And I see my face now. Well, I feel 25 right now. What I'm trying to say is like it's that stress level that
Yeah,
if we don't
yeah,
manage, it's just gonna pull you down.
yeah. Pull you back. What are some of the blocks, energy blocks that you notice in high achieving women?
There's one common pattern I observed.
Mm.
The biggest block, because high achievers in general
Hmm.
are confident.
Yeah,
But you need confidence to negotiate, to
big
convince
deal.
people, to show up.
Yeah,
You need confidence.
yeah.
But the truth is, behind that confidence is a trauma of seeking validation, fear of rejection, or approval.
Mm.
And it's coming from childhood most of the time. Because from
Mm.
1 to 7 years old, that's the formative years of
Mm.
every individual. We ask our parents for approval all the time
Yeah.
and permission. Now, there are moments in the childhood wherein it really created the trauma. I'm gonna give you an example. So I have a client. He's like in his mid 40s, I think.
Hmm.
He's good looking. He's a good catch, to be honest. Good job, and he's still single, and he wants a love life. And in one of my energy healing sessions, I saw an image of him as a kid, like 6, 7 playing baseball. And then I just saw his mother in the field watching. And then I
Yeah.
didn't see his father.
Right.
And then, like the message I received was he was always seeking validation from his father. I didn't tell
Right.
him that. I just asked him like, "Did you play baseball when you were young? This and that." And he said, "Yes." Did your father ever approve or praise you for playing football? And he said, my father never showed up in any of my baseball game."
Wow. Wow.
That actually created a trauma in him. And that's why he goes for trophy girlfriend. Because having trophy girlfriend
Right.
validates his confidence level.
Hmm.
So that's just one of those. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the common thing I've seen. And I'm also like that. I
Mm.
was. I'm aware now that it was my problem. Because when I was young, they would tease me ugly. Like,
Mm.
it's just a joke, but it's not good to do this type of joke to kids. And I told myself if I'm ugly, then I need to excel in other areas of my life
Mm.
so I can shine through. And I was so competitive. But deep
Mm.
inside, I'm insecure. I was seeking
Yeah.
validation. That's why I was an achiever, competitive, because I
Mm.
needed to be the best to
Mm.
compensate that deep insecurity inside me. And it
Yeah.
took me so long to finally figure that out. And it manifested in all my relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm not just talking about romantic, business, friendship. I
Mm.
manifested people who gives me that validation, but then at the same time they drag me down.
Mm.
Because once the massaging of ego is done, it's finished. Because that's what you're seeking from them.
Yeah. That's just made me think actually that whilst I was growing up as well, everyone used to say that I was really ugly, really skinny, really this, really that. And the only positive thing they said, well, my stepdad used to call me Quicksilver. So I used to pick up things really quickly so I could read and write by the time I was 4 years old. I would do certain things, and it was just so easy for me. So the thing is that I would do everything for everyone just to have that validation to say, oh my God, Natasha's absolutely fantastic. And, when I was even going through my burnout years and years ago, I said to my brother, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I was just so tired and I couldn't do anything. He hasn't spoken to me for 8 years because I cannot do anything for him anymore. And it's like the same thing with my brothers and sisters. They haven't spoken to me because I'm not doing anything for them. And I realized I was so much better without it. I was just exhausted, just carrying all these people. And at the end of the day, all it was is that I was seeking their approval, their validation, because Natasha is the ugly one in the family. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want to say the word, but the truth is, with the seeking validation, fear of rejection, needing of approval, we get
Mm,
to a default of, sorry for my language, kissing ass just
yeah.
to get that validation. You're actually people pleasing. And
Yeah.
when you're pleasing people, you're lying. You're not
Yes. Sir.
saying the truth. And for those who would watch this, because when you're pleasing people, seeking validation,
Mm,
it's heavy in your chest because you're not really going for what you really feel and you're not saying what you really want to say. And you can
yeah.
feel it. It's heavy in the throat and it's heavy in the chest when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are not saying what you really want to say because you're scared that you will get rejection. I just had an energy reading, chakra reading
Mm,
last week. You know how I do my energy reading? I never ask for background, whatever. I just go straight to the point to set an intention, and then I only ask your intention towards the end of the energy reading
yeah.
to tie
Yeah.
the loop,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to make you understand, to resonate what I'm saying. So I asked her like to set an intention, and then just did the energy reading. In my energy reading, I saw that she's actually a people pleaser and that she's a people pleaser at the same time a manipulator. She's an
Mm,
achiever. She's the type of person who would do whatever it takes to get what she wants.
right.
And in the end, she would resort to manipulation because she's attached to
Mm,
results. And then I just said that. It's long. I'm just summarizing. And then I asked her, what was your intention? And she said, I want to get more in touch with my intuition.
mm,
And I said, there you go. That's the reason why you're not in touch with your intuition, because deep inside you, you know that you shouldn't do that, but you do it because you're so attached to result. You want to do things your way.
mm,
And then she had a reflection after that.
mm.
And she said, it's true. Like, it's good to have reflection sometimes.
Yeah. Do you find that when you do the energy healing, people change straight away, or does it take quite a while for them to change their behavior, if there is any behavior change to make?
This is what I always say during my energy healing. I do the
Mhm.
80% for you,
Mm,
and you do the 20%. The most
yeah.
important work is the 20%.
Mm,
Because in energy healing, I do chakra per chakra or energy center.
yeah.
As much as I want to do everything in one session, you can speak it for yourself how painful it is. If you have so
Yeah.
much blood, it's not just
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see I see the blocks. I see
Yeah.
specific images and I hear specific messages of what
Mm,
caused the energy block emotional wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I share that during my energy healing. And I channel energy. So what happens during my energy healing is I remove that energy blocks, I channel new energy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why you get headache because your nervous system is purging that old energy and
Mm-hmm.
adjusting to the new energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I do. And then based on what I see as an image
Mm-hmm.
and hear as a message, we work on that. We try to dig farther and have a discussion on that and
Mm.
how that memory incident actually created a habit, a pattern, a behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
need to really increase your awareness for that. So the
Mm.
goal is to be aware and develop new behavior, new pattern, new habit.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're just gonna we do the energy healing, but you go to your default way of doing things. You're just
Yeah,
gonna go back to the same thing.
yeah, yeah.
So it depends. Sometimes it's fast, and
Mm.
I always say this: the more you are willing to heal, the more you are
Mhm.
open, the faster the process is.
Mm. I must admit, after our last session, which wasn't that too long ago, actually, I was really struggling with boundaries. I was writing it in my diary today, actually, and I realized that all of a sudden, boundaries just seem so simple to me now for some reason. And I think I don't even know why, but I struggled with it for so long. And I was always had to bring up that awareness. Do I need to make that a boundary? Am I going too far with this? But it just seems to just work now. And I just ask for what I want. Yeah, I just seem to be flowing, which, yeah, is amazing, in my opinion,
That's
anyway.
what energy healing does. Because as I just explained,
Mm,
this negative energy gets
mm,
stored in our body.
yeah,
If people don't believe about energy healing, try to feel sometimes when you're angry or you're sad. It's so heavy in your chest.
mm,
When you're
yeah,
not, when you have a guilt, shame, anger, fear, it's heavy. You feel heavy.
yeah, yeah,
And what we do with
yeah,
energy, what I do with energy healing is I remove those negative energy in your body and channel new energy. And then it
yeah, yeah,
helps. That's why it flows. It's like you are optimistic. You feel lighter. Yeah, of course, you undergo headache. I know because you need to adjust to that new energy, and you have to
yeah,
purge that old energy. And I
yeah.
know what will happen because I feel what's happening during the energy healing.
Mm,
The energy is I'm a channel. It's just passing through my body. I can feel what's going on, and
mm,
I pretty much have an idea what will happen to you after.
yeah, yeah,
That's why I always follow up my clients. Like you have to keep me posted. How do you feel
yeah,
tomorrow? Because sometimes it's intense, sometimes it's slight, sometimes like when it passes through like the pain in the pain of the client in my body, it's finished. Sometimes
mm,
it's prolonged. So
yeah, yeah,
and that's the reason why it becomes easier because the frequency that's inside your body causing that
mm,
pain is not there
yeah,
anymore. So it's not attracting the same type of frequency anymore. And as what I was saying, the moment I activated my psychic ability, I don't know what happened. Everywhere I go, I just attract spiritual people giving me insights.
yeah,
The moment I had that massive ego death, I had a reflection. And I still
mm,
have reflection from time to time. I actually attracted so many people,
mm,
business wise, friends wise, romantic wise, because of the ego, that
yeah, yeah,
seeking validation problem that I had.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of professional women can identify with that actually. This overachieving, a lot of us, especially like Black and Asian women, I've got some Asian clients where they put all this pressure on you to be an achiever, to like when I went to Jamaica, everyone's like, "Oh, what are you doing in England? And what's going on with this and this that, and the other?" And it's almost like I don't do this myself, but it's almost like when people go there, they've got to big up themselves and say, "Oh, yes, I'm doing this." If you're in England or America, Canada, or in the Western world, and you're not doing anything that is seen as significant and sending them money back home, you're seen as like some sort of failure. I know in Jamaica they call me mean anyway because I just haven't got anything for them. But I just find that so many of us are held back by this whole belief system of what our parents taught us, that you've got to be this person, you've got to show off, almost show off. Well, you have to show off and say, oh, yeah, I'm this person that is doing that. And I just feel like when you say with the ego death, that's going to be quite difficult for quite a lot of people, especially in corporate. Yeah.
And as I've mentioned, like you needed ego in order to survive in competitive environment.
Mm.
The problem is if you
Mm.
overfed that ego, then that's the because ego is there for survival purposes.
Mm.
There's a purpose for
Yeah.
everything that
Yeah.
we have in this world, this life.
Yeah.
Everything at the end of the day, it's balance. There's a like I keep on saying, there's a borderline between ego and self-respect.
Yeah.
You have to say no to respect yourself,
Oh, yeah.
not really to validate your ego. So there's a
Mm.
borderline for both.
Mm.
Yeah,
I was,
which is
yeah, I
true.
was going to ask you now that you're doing energy work and I'm sure your family do not approve of you doing energy work. Well, do they approve of you doing energy work? Your family? What do they think of it?
I just told them that I I do energy healing. Well, at the end of the day,
Mm.
it's my life. I
Mhm.
followed whatever was programmed for me.
Mhm.
To go back into, I mean, yeah, it sounds like a failure for them or for people
Mhm.
who's doing like the normal checklist, so-called checklist life. Because I have a
Mhm.
certified public accountant license. I have
Mhm.
an MBA degree in one of the top business schools in France. I have
Mhm.
17 plus years of professional experience.
Yeah.
The last job that I left was high level. It was at a director
Mm.
level. I had a good salary. To give up all of
Mhm.
those things is like a failure in an ego way.
In their eyes.
But
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
ask me now, when I was working, it was so hard for me to sleep. I couldn't sleep. My mind is always
Mm.
active.
Mhm.
And there was a reason I got sick with eczema because of stress. It's my body complaining for that over abuse I was doing. There
Mm.
was also a
Yeah.
reason I got into a depression during the pandemic. My soul is telling me it's tired of the fake identity that I created for
Mm.
myself.
Yeah.
Now I have peace of mind. Like I
Yeah.
really do have peace of mind. I go to
Yeah.
bed in 5-10 minutes, I fall asleep, and then I wake up. Way back, I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep. Like I had moments wherein I was taking melatonin. If I don't take sleeping pills, I do not, as much as possible now. I was taking melatonin just to be able to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I'm sure.
and I help. people. It gives me fulfillment and satisfaction when
Yeah.
my clients send me a message that they feel better, they feel lighter, and when a client is sending me message that they progress in different areas of their lives, it makes me happy. It gives me fulfillment
Yeah.
because that means I did the job. I helped somebody.
Mm.
So
What?
I would rather get fulfilled than fulfill my ego and have
Yeah.
titles.
No, but it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. When I was working as a building surveyor and I closed, I was just tired, tired. I would go to bed, I was tired, I'd wake up tired. Like you say, I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. And there was this time that I was just talking to my mom in the kitchen and I just collapsed. And I had to go into hospital that day and I was there for 3 days, just sleeping, sleeping. That's all I wanted, just to sleep. I was exhausted, out of this world, exhausted. I've never felt anything like it in my life. And when I moved away from that work and started doing stuff that I wanted to do, coaching, even doing the transformational courses, I started to wake up, you know. But what advice would you give to women that are feeling exhausted and thinking there's no way out of this cycle of corporate?
Simple. You have to stop
Yeah.
and ask yourself, are you still happy? Basic question.
Mm,
Are you still happy? Is there something wrong?
mm.
Is there something that you need to do if there's something wrong? Yeah, like we are programmed to do this fast paced life. Everything was so fast,
Mm,
and because everything was so fast, we're always busy. We forget to sit down and reflect, and we feel like
mm,
everything is good until you just get knocked down and faint and realize
mm.
you have a disease, disease
Yeah,
in general.
yeah,
So just
definitely.
stop
Yeah,
and reflect. Ask yourself, am I still happy? Is this what I really want to do for the rest of my life? Is this serving what I'm supposed to do with this lifetime? I mean, it's hard to find the answer of what is my purpose. Okay,
mm,
it's not something that's gonna come so fast. But the basic question is, am I still happy? And one of the things that I tell to people, like success for me, is that when you go to bed, you are at peace.
yeah,
That for me
yeah.
is the definition of success. You go to bed
Mm,
and you are at peace. Because if you go to bed and your brain keeps on thinking, what's the next strategy? What's the next plan? You haven't done this, you haven't done that, you need to do this, you need to call this. That's not life. You are
mm.
living in worry,
Yeah, of course.
constantly chasing. Chasing what? All of
Yeah,
those things will you will not bring it anyway when you die.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is that makes me think about work with elderly people. And there were just so many people that just had so many regrets, just regrets about their life. They just worked too hard, didn't see their children. They were never happy, always thinking that certain things mattered when they didn't. So, yeah. I was going to ask also, what signs or symptoms tend to show up when the soul is misaligned?
You know that feeling? Just few
Mm.
points. One, there's always this unhappiness deep inside.
Yeah.
Professional accolades, success, titles, wealth,
Yeah.
material things.
Mm.
But deep inside, there's something missing. Happy.
Mm. Yeah.
There will always be that thing. There's something
Mm.
missing and you don't know what it is. Sometimes you
Yeah.
know, most of the time you don't know.
Mm.
And the second one is you start to question things.
Mm.
You start to
Yeah.
question. But then, and then the more you find answer, sometimes you find the answer. And the more you find answer, the more questions you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have the answer. And then you just get into
Mm.
frustration. You get into the loop, asking
Mm.
why. So that's the second one.
Mm.
And the third one, you know that something is off. You know it. You're
Yeah.
just in denial. You know it. You know that you are not living the life that you're supposed to have or to be
Mm.
in this lifetime. You know it deep inside you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we're just scared to admit it because I'm gonna go back. We fear to be judged. We fear that we are stupid. We fear that we're gonna get rejected. We fear that we're gonna get cancelled. We fear all those things. But deep inside, you know that something
Mm.
is wrong. So,
Yeah.
yeah, three things. One, you know there's unhappiness. Second, you start asking questions. And third, you know it. You know it. We are just in denial most of the time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. What has been the most surprising or powerful moment in your own awakening journey?
I think so. Before I activated my ability to see aura chakra, I did deep
Mm.
meditation with people, like three
Mhm.
friends, different times. It was actually the
Yeah.
first time I started to see aura color, but I didn't
Mm.
know how I did it.
Mm.
I didn't know how I did it, but I know I can, but I don't know how I did it. And I didn't know that was the capacity I can.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one. Like,
Mm.
I know, but I don't believe myself.
Mm. Yeah.
And I think the most powerful part of my awakening is that ego death.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw my garbage. I saw my inner garbage. And I was in
Mm.
denial. And the third one, that realization that I was seeking validation.
Yeah.
And all the relationships I had, all types of
Mm.
relationships, business, friendship, romantic, it's all coming from my seeking validation problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
massive.
now I was able to crack the code.
Mm.
And this is what like I try to advocate at the end of the day. Everything that's happening in your life is because of just few things. Number one, mindset.
Mm.
Your mindset is driven by all those positive, negative experiences.
Mm. Yeah.
Second one is belief system.
Mm.
We function based on belief system.
Mm.
If you don't change your mindset and belief system, it's gonna be hard to change. You don't
Mm.
even realize that you're living in that bubble.
Mm.
And I was just so happy. My transformation journey was not easy. I had that epiphany when I was 28. Fast forward 2 decades, not really 2 decades, more than more than a decade. I'm not yet that
I was
age.
gonna say, I don't think so, Osmarie.
I know my math is wrong. It took me a while to get into that stage, and I'm still in the. I'm still like we all continuously grow. But what I wanted to say is, it was not an easy process. But then I realized all the things I've experienced is part of the process
Mm, yeah,
because I wouldn't understand if I didn't experience the process. And now when I talk to my clients, I just know what's going on. Of
mm,
course I can feel energy. Even if you lie to me, like I know exactly, I can see it, I can hear it. Unless you really close yourself and you don't want me to scan your energy. Of course that's a different
yeah,
story. So yeah, I that's the formula. And I started to understand. I've read so many books. I've watched tons of interviews of so many people, done a
mm,
lot of online course training, watched a lot of podcasts. It took me so long to crack the code.
yeah, yeah.
Like the movie Matrix, I just watched it again recently.
Mm,
Neo was not believing what Morpheus was saying, that it's just all a construct of the mind.
mm,
And at the last part of the movie, he started to finally see the codes, that everything was just codes.
yeah,
And it's the same in real life. Everything is just a belief system, mindset, and all of those are encoded in
yeah,
us.
yeah.
And everything is energy. You attract what
Mm,
you vibrate.
mm. What would you suggest to someone that has experienced quite a lot of trauma in their life? How are they supposed to crack the code for themselves?
You have the first thing is to reflect on the patterns.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
patterns at work, patterns at relationship.
Mm,
I've seen a lot of women, like there's this women group, and they are into the same patterns of attracting the wrong partner.
mm,
If you are attracting the wrong partner, you are in wrong relationship all the time.
mm,
What was the common denominator? Are they the type of toxic, abusive? Are you the ones
mm,
always giving sacrifices, doing all things?
mm,
If you are at work, are you always ending up in toxic environments?
mm. Yeah.
There's a reason why. Because maybe, or it's highly likely, you grew up in a toxic household, so
Mm,
you naturally crave for the toxic environment.
yeah.
Maybe you grew up in a toxic relationship with your parents, siblings, I don't know, and that's why you crave for a toxic relationship. That's just natural for you. It's like
Yeah.
default.
It's just quite
That's your
familiar. Yeah.
energy vibrating.
Mm, mm, yeah.
So if you have a lot of trauma, yeah,
Hmm.
first you get into an acceptance that there's something wrong, that you actually have trauma. We all have trauma. I can go so deep level woo woo here, but I prefer not to.
Yeah. How do you see energy healing supporting women who have internalized burnout, people pleasing, or self doubt?
Well, actually, and you can validate this because I did energy healing for you.
Hmm.
So, energy healing, basically, it's simple. Energy healing is clearing negative energy blocks in your energy center. So first, let's stop. What is energy center or chakra?
Hmm.
Before I explain a lot of things, one step at a time. So, energy center or chakra, the woo-woo term chakra. Chakra
Hmm.
actually is a Sanskrit. It means disc or wheel.
Hmm.
Chakra is an energy center in our body. It's like USB where you plug power, and there's 114 of it. The main ones are 7. So the
Yeah.
function of energy center chakra is it's actually a non-physical highway of cosmic energy. What is cosmic energy? Cosmic energy is this trying to reconnect. Make sure you have a stable internet connection, okay? So, cosmic energy is the same energy that regulates the solar system.
Mm.
It's the same energy that converts atoms to molecules, and we have access to that energy. And it's plugged. That energy goes through our energy center chakra. Now, if one chakra is blocked, then it's not gonna flow.
Mm.
So it goes like this in general,
Yeah.
and it goes like this.
Mm.
On a scientific level,
Right.
this it's called biophysics. It's the quantum field. That's aura.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And everything is energy. Everything is energy. We are all made of atoms: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. We are all composed of that. The composition just varies. So, energy center, and each energy center represents different areas of your life. So, the base, or it's called root chakra, represents or is focused on survival,
Mm-hmm.
instinct,
Mm-hmm.
security. That includes
Yeah.
financial security. It's basically meeting your basic needs.
Mm.
And what is survival for? It's blocked by fear. So fear
Yeah.
is there for survival
Mm-hmm.
purposes. But too much fear will block your root chakra. And so I'm gonna make this fast. Sacral is for emotion. It's the second
Yeah.
energy center chakra. Emotion, creativity, motivation, passion. Now, if you have creative blocks, motivation blocks, it's highly likely that your sacral is blocked.
Mm.
Solar plexus is about willpower,
Mm.
confidence, and it's blocked by shame. Sacral chakra
Mm.
is blocked by guilt. Heart is for love, love for others, compassion. It's blocked by grief. Throat chakra is your expression of truth. This is where the sound comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's communication, and it's blocked by lies. Third eye is for
Mm-hmm.
intuition, and it's blocked by illusion. And the crown
Mm.
chakra is for the connection of the divine to your higher self, and it's blocked by attachment. Now, what was the question? How can successful women with trauma use energy healing?
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine now, which areas of your life are you suffering?
Mm.
There's one that's not flowing. So, what type of trauma? You always have to work so hard. You're an achiever, but you're burnout, stressed.
Mm.
There's something wrong with your solar plexus, that willpower, confidence. It's being blocked by shame. Shame of what? Not achieving, shame of not performing, shame of not achieving what you're supposed to achieve.
Mm. Yeah.
Your throat chakra, it's also leadership because communication is two-way. It's speaking and listening.
Yeah.
So if you have to please people, to lie in order to get what you want, that's gonna get blocked. It's heavy here, and most of the time when you're lying, it's also heavy in your chest
Mm.
because all the emotions are getting accumulated. Now, what energy healing does is it helps you remove those energy blocks.
Yeah.
It's based on trauma. It's not even your trauma now, it's a deeply rooted trauma from
Yeah.
different types of experiences in your lifetime, this lifetime, I'm not even talking, and probably past lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna help you remove those, so you're gonna feel lighter, and it's faster and easier for you to heal because you're gonna pinpoint the specific moments in your life that caused the trauma,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just have to go back there to close the
Mm.
chapter and heal, and then that's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, probably some people will not believe in past life, but I gave you past life regression, so you can speak it for yourself. I never believed in past life as well when I was still in the logic type of living, but I've seen the karma I needed to pay for my past life. So,
Mm.
and I do a lot of past life regression for my clients.
Right. I think one of the reasons why I was quite resistant to all this energy healing, as we'd call it, because I grew up in a Christian family, and everyone used to say to me, "Oh, all of that is just sort of it's all evil, and it's all this and it's all that, and it's everything negative about energy healing. Oh, you're summoning the dead and all this sort of business." Because used to have psychic abilities when I was younger, and I suppressed quite a lot of it because of the way people in my family behaved around me. You're not normal, you're not this, you're not that. But then you find that because I'd gone through so much trauma and nothing was working, I had to, well, I did somatic healing, which helped quite a lot actually. But I felt like I needed an acceleration of healing. So when I met you, I thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to try this. And I'm not going to say anything to anyone because everyone's like, oh my God, Natasha, what are you doing now?
It's true.
But
Most
I tell you something, it's helped me so much. But I mean, what was it? I think it was it the third session that I had, and I was sick for so long. But the thing is that it's been worth it to just come out on the other end, through the other side. And I feel, like you say, extremely light. Just being able to speak. Years ago, I'd never be able to get on camera. I've got recordings that I've just left from 2023 or something. I've just not done nothing with that. Not doing a podcast. We'll do it all by voice. We're not going to do this thing where I'm showing my face on camera. Now I feel like this is quite necessary for me to get the word out. So yeah, thank you, Osmarie. Yeah.
you're welcome, and it's true. Like, because it's a long process for healing.
Mm.
But then you shouldn't be victimized like you need to heal all your life, you know? So,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is like with energy healing, the way it accelerates is because you go, at least for my work, I can only speak for my work.
Mm.
I see images which is specifically related where you got those negative energy blocks.
Mm. Yeah.
And I remove those stored negative energy
Yeah.
and I channel new energy.
Hmm.
So it's like you have a pitcher, you have a water, but that
Hmm.
water is dirty.
Yeah.
I remove that water for you and I pour new water so you can drink it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can give that analogy. And yeah, I know what you've undergone through in your energy healing, especially the fourth one, I think.
Mm.
That you have, like, it took you so long to recover. But can you imagine you're carrying those heavy negative energy? And it, unfortunately, it needs to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The purging needs to happen. And the purging was difficult for you. But can you imagine if that didn't get released in your body?
I don't want to
You
imagine.
feel heavy. You don't have energy.
Yeah, and for a long time I was like that. Over 10 years, I was just tired all the time. I couldn't explain why I was tired, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Natasha, you used to work so hard. You're just so lazy now." No, no, I'm not lazy. I'm just exhausted. My mom used to say to me, "Can you just stop telling yourself that you're tired? You're not tired. You're not tired." I was just like, I am tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of all of you, you know. But yeah, I just
It's actually your soul.
say that again.
It's your soul. It's actually your soul that is tired of all
So
this, yeah,
yeah,
things that
yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah, I was just exhausted in my it was just so heavy, just everything was just so heavy on top of me. But yeah, um what is your soul's deeper mission with this work?
Well, the epiphany that I had way back
Mm,
is my purpose is to touch other people's lives and to
mm,
inspire other people. And I guess the true meaning behind that is to really empower people at a soul level. And that's why I changed my company name to My Soul Empowerment.
yes, I noticed
So
that.
basically, I believe that's my purpose with my energy
Yeah,
healing. It's soul empowerment to live a soul aligned life
excellent.
and
Yeah.
to really, because it's like you're carrying heavy luggages in you
Mm,
from past life, this lifetime. It's heavy. And
yeah,
then you cannot
yeah.
move because you're carrying all these luggages. So you have to
Mm,
remove all these luggages so you can go to the direction where you want to go. So, yeah, that's my purpose in life, to empower souls. I just launched, so I'm doing energy healing in general. It's based on, it's customized. It's based on what you want to heal. So the way I do it, you know it. Like I just ask you to set an intention, what you want to achieve or what you want to heal, or if you have questions, and the rest will just flow.
mhm.
So recently, I was inspired with all my conversations with my girlfriends. I also launched something called love empowerment, that is to attract soul aligned relationships in general. At the end of the day, no man is an island. And I'm not just talking about romantic, in every type of relationship. We need the right business partner, the right social circle, the right partner to evolve in life.
Yeah. Mm, yeah,
Like find your tribe.
definitely.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed, and that's one thing that people lack sometimes, especially when you've had quite a lot of trauma or you're in burnout stages or something. Because the thing is that you surround yourself, because you've not got the right type of energy, you start attracting all these sorts of people that will take advantage, you see. So, yeah, once you start vibrating at that higher level, you can start to see how things will change and you start attracting like minded people.
That's it. Because, yeah, people think energy healing is woo woo, but the fact remains the same. Everything is energy. Everything
Hmm.
is energy.
Yeah.
If you dissect the
Yeah.
composition of body, it's made of energy, and like attracts like. You're angry, you attract angry people. You are
Yeah.
full of love, you attract people full of love.
Mm.
And it makes me sad, like seeing people complaining about this and that in their lives,
Mm.
and complaining about other people, why they are like that. Well, your outer world is a projection of your inner world.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever is happening in your outer world is deep inside you that needs to be healed. When
Mm.
somebody says something to you, or a person is triggering you,
Mm.
because you have that inside you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes that's a difficult thing to accept, though, that we're being triggered because it's something inside of us. And I think sometimes I meet quite a lot of people who do not like to take that personal responsibility to say, yeah, it is actually something that you need to work on. It's not the other person's problem, it's your issue.
Exactly, because the moment you raised your frequency,
Mm.
and I have this chart, like every emotions have a corresponding frequency, and the
Mm.
lowest is shame.
Mm.
Yeah, if I remember it correctly, and the highest is enlightenment.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure not a lot of people will admit what their current emotion is. But that emotion has a corresponding frequency, and whatever frequency you are vibrating at, you're just gonna attract it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
to be able to get rid of those, to be able to raise your frequency, you have to heal. It would
Yeah.
be hard to raise that frequency if you're carrying guilt, you're carrying shame, you're carrying anger, you're carrying all these negative emotions. That's negative energy.
Mm.
That's pulling, doing a magnet for negative energy outside of you.
Mm.
I mean, like somebody, you get angry, you raise your voice. Somebody would just talk back to you as well with a angry voice.
With-
Unless you got lucky, somebody has the patience, but they would still say something bad about you. It's as simple as that. You know, the saddest part is when you don't even know what you feel.
Yeah.
I had a client, I always because she asked me like, what should be my intention? And I always tell
Wow.
her, just follow what you feel. And you know the answer? She said, I don't even know what I feel.
My goodness. Yeah.
That's the saddest part. You are not human anymore if you don't even know what you feel.
I think
Because that's how we are trained. At least I can speak for corporate. You're not allowed to show up emotions. I remember a boss who told me like I should display a poker face because all my emotions are written all over my face. And now I reflect back to that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was so good with doing poker face, but I suppressed so much emotion deep inside me.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. Gosh, it's amazing that the thing is that we live in a world like that where we're supposed to suppress our feelings. And I think that's what is the problem amongst a lot of people, where they've suppressed themselves so much that the thing is that they don't even know who they are. I remember I was I was in such a state actually, especially when I was running the surveying business, and I phoned up my sister and I was like, Anna, can you describe to me who I am? I didn't even know who I was, what I felt about myself, what do I like? And to be in that state of confusion for so long, it was that in itself was just draining.
Yeah. So like it's losing yourself basically.
Yeah, just lost
And when you
myself.
lose yourself, you try to forget that you lost yourself. And that's when
Yeah.
you get into this addiction.
Mm.
Addiction to um, either substance or other addiction. Like there are different forms of addiction
Yeah, yeah.
because you
Oh.
need that shock of energy to forget. And then
Mm.
it comes back again. And then you need that shock of energy to forget again. And then it becomes a cycle.
Yeah,
Like some people are workaholic because they need to find an excuse. They are
yeah,
just addicted to perfection or addicted to reaching a status or a level or feeding the ego. Some people are addicted to substance like alcohol because they want to
yeah,
forget, they want to escape reality.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Osmarie, thank you for this enlightening conversation. How would anyone reach you? Have you got any retreats going on or what's happening? How is it best for them to get in contact with you?
So you see my website here, www.mysoulempowerment.com. I normally give energy reading or chakra reading, complimentary chakra reading for 30 minutes. If you have questions, if you want to understand a high level overview of what's causing whatever you're feeling or undergoing through, or you're just curious which one of your chakra is blocked, lit, your aura, you can book a 30 minutes complimentary consultation. And so, yeah, that's how they reach me. I just launched last month or end of last month my retreat in Costa da Caparica, Portugal. It's called Unleash the Goddess Within. It's a 7-day transformational retreat that is mixed with energy healing and then mixed with activities because the coast of Portugal is beautiful. And what I realized is that we learn faster by experience rather than theory most of the time. So it's a combination of energy healing, activities such as hiking. I included there surfing, not because of course, I love surfing, but it's not about that. I learned so much from surfing. The basics in life, such as the difficult ones, patience. I learned patience with surfing, managing frustrations, managing your fear, and so on. So, and then excursions in Tomar. So, Tomar is a UNESCO World Site Heritage, wherein the goal for that is for people to get inspiration to learn from the old self and transform into the new self and keep whatever good values and principles they have in their old self and just let go the rest and transform. We're also gonna spend afternoon in Lisbon, and I'm a firm believer that confidence should be within, and it shouldn't be outside. But as well, the way we dress, the way we project ourselves, sometimes enhances that confidence level. So the retreat, because it's transformed to a goddess, right? It includes personal styling, wherein there's an analysis which color suits your skin color. It's just basic. It's not something like a high level celebrity. It's just basic. And as well, it's vegan, vegetarian, plant based diet. So it's for detox. It's really transformation. And there's a therapy massage because we all deserve to relax. So yeah, it's a 7 day transformational retreat to unleash the goddess within. It's all inclusive and for women only. It's September. Whoa, I forgot the date. It's end of September until October 4. I think. Wait, sorry.
All right then. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That sounds
It's
great,
September
actually.
28 until October 4 in Costa da Caparica, Portugal. And Costa da Caparica is 30 minutes away from Lisbon Airport. And it's actually a small place, quiet place. It's in front of the ocean and with a mountain backdrop. So we're gonna do hiking as well. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing.
And
Thank you
I
so
just
much.
launched my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I can share it to you. Like,
No, I'll put everything in the show notes anyway, where everyone can contact you. So don't worry about that. Yeah. But thank you so much, Osmarie. That has been absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure it will help quite a lot of women in the community.
thank you so much. I hope they learned a thing or two from this podcast. And yeah, you can book an energy reading and you know how to reach me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.